Hi, everybody. This is our introduction to WeVideo and the online ability to edit video pretty well. Not as much control as we have in Premiere in terms of keyframing and being able to manipulate every image and audio in many, many ways. But still, with WeVideo, we can do a lot. So let's look at that. First, when you open it up to out of the dashboard, you'll click video. You could also do a recording. You could create a GIF or a podcast. They also have some templates that are fun, but not as useful for what we do. In video, you'll see a timeline down here, which is where we'll assemble the different clips and the audio. This is your preview pane of everything that you're looking at. These are your resources. They have stock media that you can search through for, say, a desert or a dessert or garbage. You can find anything you may want to look for stock images here and video, as well as in videoblocks.com. We can download stock video clips there as well. Under My Media, I'm going to import. You can also record, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm doing a screen recording as well as recording myself from the webcam. You can also narrate. So we're going to import something. We can browse and select things that are in our places. We can get images. We can get movies and clips, things that we've gotten from our phones and put into the computer. You can also import from Google Drive. And here, let's say we go to CommaCAD from the 603 computer. We have some video clips in here. Here's our Stagecraft promotional video. So it pops up here in our resources. Okay. So again, that's import. Down at the bottom, you can import from Google Drive. You can also import from Dropbox, and we'll talk about the CommaCAD Dropbox later on when we get to moving files around. But here I've imported a few clips that I'm going to manipulate. We're going to start with a foggy timescape of a landscape, time lapse. And we're putting that in video 1. So right now we have 2 video layers. We can add more video layers with this plus symbol here, audio or video. We also have an audio track down here that we're going to place some audio layer. I want some text to go over this. So I'm going to put text. We have all of these different text, moving text and graphics that you can utilize. We're going to use, where did it go? The one that I liked. I'm looking for it now. There it is. It moved on me. So we're going to use this one. We're going to place it above on this video track here. I'm going to have some without the text. So I need to I'm going to place it in the middle. But I'm going to stretch it out a little longer. I want it to go this full length here, right? And now you can already start to see what it's going to look like. But now let's manipulate that. So with this selected, I can now, if you double click it, you can then bring up the properties. And these 2 tabs are what you can change about it. First, I need to change the text, the Communications Academy. And the secondary text, I'm going to say 2020 to 2021. Change the font. In both of those, you can change the size as well. I'm going to leave this as auto, but I do want it to be generally a different size. I want a slightly different blue as well. Let's just bring it down a little bit darker. A little more blue. Let's go there with that. Okay. I'm also going to change the scale of it, make it bigger, take up much more of the screen. I also want to change the position, but I'm just going to drag it down a little bit. You could do this by changing the X or Y coordinates over here, or you can just drag it in the preview pane. Okay, save those changes down at the bottom, and here we go. So now that says the Communications Academy. It has an in and an out at the end, so it puts itself away. I don't have to fade it out or anything. So that's placing text over top of a graphic. Let's look at my media again, and let's start with this clip. I want to use some of that background footage, but I don't want this with the text already in it. So I'm going to move the viewer here. Move that to right before the text appears, and I'm going to cut right there. Okay, I'm going to select this longer clip again. We're going to move to the end of that man talking. So we're at the stream, we're going back. Okay, and let's go to right the end of that. I'm leaving it there, and I'm going to cut again. And then I'm going to get rid of this clip. So I'm going to select it and hit the delete key, and it is gone. Here I want to move to that clip. Now we come back, we see the stream, we see the children playing, we see people walking, and then I'm going to cut it right after the people walking. So I'm going to cut it again here, scissors, and then I think I'm going to get rid of that black screen. So right before there, I'll cut one more time. I'm going to get rid of this little clip here, hit the delete key, and move the clip back over to join up next to it. So now we're moving, and I'm going to cut it right before this title of the Helix School. Cut one more time. And now I'm going to delete the rest of this because I do not need that. Now we're going to add another clip on top of all of that. So this is a blue screen clip. Let's see, I didn't want to delete that. So I need to edit in a little more B-roll underneath this blue screen clip. I deleted the rest of it, but at the end, if I hold it at the end right there, it turns my cursor into arrows. So I can bring it back. So I do need some more of that. So I'm going to scroll along here. First, I need to hide this video because it's in the way for me right now. So I'm just going to hide that track. Those three little dots will give me other options so I can show it and hide it. Okay, now I'm looking at this again. I had it at the Helix School. Let's cut it again right there. And let's scroll forward to, I don't need her, but I need some more B-roll. I'd like the children playing if I can find children playing. I see children on phones. Let's extend this some more. Extending. Let's get some, find some more B-roll here. So we have some B-roll of, nope, let's keep moving forward. Let's find some good B-roll behind here. This was a original short from a few years ago. What do we have? Sometimes you got to wait for things to be able to preview. Not seeing it yet. It's still thinking. My computer's working harder. Still not previewing. There we go. Okay, let's see some of this baseball game footage here. So we're going to cut it there. Cut and to say here. And you need to make sure you have the right clip selected. Let's cut that here. Let's delete that and delete this and then bring this back. Okay, now I have enough footage underneath my blue screen clip. So I'm going to show that track again. We have a blue screen clip, and we have behind it the B-roll footage that I've chosen. So in this blue screen, in order to key out the blue, we're going to select this clip. We're going to edit it with its little pencil on the far right, just above that clip. Let me cancel that. So here's the clip. Just above it, you have some options here. We're going to go to the pencil. We're going to change some aspects of it. First thing we're going to go to, there is volume, there's animation of moving this clip around. There's some color things that we could change about it. And then there's color keying. So we're going to do some color keying. We're going to select with the eyedropper the color of the backdrop. And then we're going to defringe a little bit. You can see the difference on the edges of the body there, how that happens. This side I want to defringe a little bit. That'll make it a little cleaner, I think. Color balance and color sensitivity sometimes also help. Next thing I want to do is make this animate. I want to move this piece. So first, I want it to start small and in the corner. So I'm going to drag it into the corner. I want it to end large and on the other side. So by the end of this, it will have grown and moved across. This is just going to be a single line of Josh growing in size and moving across the screen. If I wanted it to rotate, if I wanted it to do other positions and move to these other positions over time, Premiere would be a better application for that. But you could also slice up this clip of this blue screen clip and have the clips move to different spots throughout. But I would prefer to use Premiere, Adobe Premiere, to make that multiple movements and transparencies and all of that. We can rotate it. We can flip it. Sometimes those are useful. And then there's a speed that I can change. You can change how fast this clip goes, which will shorten the clip as well. And you can have a smooth in and out of those speed changes as well. So there's quite a bit you can manipulate with this. Let's save these changes. And now you can see as we scroll along, it's going to increase in size and move across. Okay. The last thing I want to do is change. I want it to fade in and I want it to fade out. So that changes the opacity. This button up here, this first one is a pencil, second one is your opacity. So that gives us a line with dots on either end. Also shows us the audio. But I'm going to add a dot and I'm going to drag that first dot down. So this means the opacity is going to fade into view. And then at the end, I'm going to add a dot. I'm going to drag the last dot down. This will have it fade out. You can smooth those out by adding more dots. Add another dot here. That will fade it in, and then it'll fade out at the end over a longer period of time. Now let's give it a background, some background music. First of all, this audio clip, you don't want to use the audio at all. So no volume, audio on this, no volume. So let's get up here. A little tricky to navigate these menus sometimes when it's a really small clip. Same thing here. Audio, no volume. I don't want any of this showing. In terms of zooming in to be able to see these clips further, down at the very bottom on the right, you can zoom into these clips. So this clip is really small, so I need to also take the audio out of this clip. Right? Let's try that again. Audio, volume, out. Okay, let's add audio underneath all of this. I'm going to go up to the audio tab. I'm going to find premium music. You can also import your own music. We have music from epidemicsound.com as well as audio.com, two eyes. Let's go for cheerful. Let's find one. That's very cheerful. It's going to drag this down to the audio bar. Make sure it goes to the very beginning of the clip. Let's zoom out again. I can see this, and then I'm going to drag this all the way to the beginning of the clip. When our blue screen clip is showing, let's shrink these a little bit so I have more space to see things. Same here. Now I'm just dealing with the audio. When the blue screen clip starts, I want to bring the audio down. So we have this blue line at the top of the audio. I'm going to add a couple dots, and I'm going to bring those down. And bring that audio way down underneath the audio coming from our blue screen interview. And then at the end of the interview, I'm going to bring that back up. So I'm going to add a few more dots and bring that back up to full. And then at the end of the piece, we're going to bring the audio all the way down. Let's zoom back out again further, because I also don't need the rest of this audio. So I'm going to clip it. Although it's hard to clip, there are no scissors tools, so I'm just going to drag the end of this back. Scrolling and holding this down at the same time. But that didn't work. So I'm going to hold this down and bring this back down. This last button here, or that keyframe, I'm going to make sure is all the way. Okay, so I'm cutting this all the way back to here. This video clip, I'm also going to change its opacity. Make sure its audio is out already, but let's change its opacity. So I'm going to fade this out as well, add a couple dots, drag the last one down, and then bring it down to here, let's say. Okay, so we're going to fade the blue screen, and then we'll fade out our B-roll. And we're fading out our music as well. Okay, that's it. That's all of our editing. We're going to finish that. You can preview it, of course, which is a good idea. Start at the beginning. You can press your play over here. You can also press the space bar. Everything seems to be going well. Fading that out. Okay, so I can see that this one's audio is still going strong. We're going to make sure that that one goes all the way out. Double check this audio as well. Yep, that one's audio is all the way out. Let's go back here. Can't really hear him very much, so let's make sure his audio is all the way up. Maybe even bring it up some. Sounds good. So let's finish that. We hit the finish button up top. We give it a title. Test WeVideo. Number 2. Set the name. We want HD, which is not full HD. This is not 1920 by 1080. It is 1280 by 720. This is 720p, but it is fine for our purposes for sure. And we will then do video, not audio only or GIF. We'll do the HD. We're going to save it to WeVideo. We could go straight to the Google Drive, but we're going to save it there. You can choose a thumbnail. I like this, Josh talking about baseball. We would export it, and it is queued. And when it's done, it sends you a nice little email. So let's start using WeVideo in our first projects together. Those of you with Premiere can certainly use that, but those without, WeVideo is a fantastic alternative for our remote learning. needs. Thanks, everybody, and I hope this helps you.